Chuck Norris has long been an icon of American action cinema, celebrated for his martial arts mastery, stoic screen presence, and an endless supply of memes that celebrate his superhuman strength and stoicism. But beyond the roundhouse kicks and larger-than-life roles, Norris has led a deeply complex personal life that many fans know little about. Known for his performances in classics like Walker, Texas Ranger, and The Delta Force, he also served in the U.S. Air Force and founded a fitness empire. But in 1991, a revelation shocked even his most devoted followers. Norris had a daughter he never knew existed for the first 26 years of her life. Dina DiCiolli, the child from an affair during his early military days, emerged from obscurity and changed everything. Now, decades later, Dina is finally speaking out and confirming the rumors that have quietly followed the Norris family for years. The affair that changed everything.
Ranger, we're leaving.
You're leaving all right, but you're going to jail.
No way. No more jail. Never!
Chuck Norris's career has always appeared calculated and composed, but his early personal life was filled with decisions that eventually caught up to him. Long before he became a household name, Norris was a young serviceman stationed in California, still years away from fame. While serving in the Air Force, he had an affair with a woman named Joanna, a relationship that neither was prepared to see through, especially once Joanna learned he was already married. Norris never told her the truth about his marital status at the time, and Joanna, perhaps seeking to protect herself and her child, kept the resulting pregnancy a secret from him for decades. In his autobiography Against All Odds, My Story, Norris opens up about this period of shame. He admits that cheating on his first wife, Diane Holacek, was something he regretted deeply. At the time, the young couple had just welcomed their son Mike, and Norris's focus was split between duty and the complications of young parenthood. Joanna, meanwhile, gave birth to a daughter, Dina, without ever notifying Norris. She later told their daughter that she had wanted to avoid disrupting his life, particularly as his fame started to rise. Dina grew up without knowing her father, only discovering the truth about her lineage at age 16. She overheard a phone conversation between her mother and a friend, one that would change her identity forever. Although Joanna attempted to prevent her daughter from contacting Norris, Dina felt compelled to reach out. In 1991, she wrote him a heartfelt letter revealing who she was, and for Chuck Norris, life was never the same again. His reaction wasn't one of skepticism or denial. Norris, despite the shock, welcomed the letter and quickly arranged a meeting. He later said he didn't need any blood tests or DNA results. He knew from the moment he saw her. Their emotional embrace was not only a long-awaited reunion, but a healing moment that both had been unknowingly searching for. The affair may have been a mistake, but the daughter it produced became an essential part of Norris's life from that moment forward. Before we continue, have you ever wondered how action stars like Chuck Norris stay in shape in their old age? We were recently sent a video that he made, and we couldn't believe our eyes. At 85 years old, Chuck Norris is still staying active, working out, and kicking butt. What's even crazier is he says he still feels like he's in his 50s, with more strength and endurance than he had in his prime. He even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He achieved all of this by making just one change, and after seeing his results, his wife started doing it too. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body is leaner, and she has energy that lasts all day. Chuck personally made a video that explains everything, which you can see at chuckdefense.com/facts, or by clicking the link below this video. You won't believe how simple his secret is. Just go to chuckdefense.com/facts, or click on the link in the description, and it'll completely change the way you think about your health. At 85 years old, the legendary Chuck Norris has more energy than men half his age. Once he discovered the 3 things that sabotage our body as we age, he was able to find a solution that he now credits with transforming his health. See his method for yourself by clicking the link in the description below or visiting chuckdefense.com/facts. A daughter steps into the spotlight.
You know, they say Chuck Norris is so tough, there's no chin under his beard. There is only another fist.
That's ridiculous. Chuck Norris?
When Dina DiCiolli stepped forward and claimed Chuck Norris as her biological father, she did so with careful consideration. She had lived most of her life without any connection to the man who starred in her favorite TV shows and movies, never knowing they shared the same blood. But after sending that letter in 1991, everything changed. What followed wasn't a media circus or a denial from a celebrity too proud to admit his past. Instead, it was an emotional reunion that defined both their lives. Chuck Norris wrote about the moment in his book with striking honesty. He explained that upon seeing Dina, there was no doubt in his heart. They embraced, cried, and began the long journey of rebuilding a relationship that had never had the chance to begin. Despite decades of separation, there was an immediate emotional bond between father and daughter. Quote, "It was as if I had known her all my life," he wrote. That sentiment marked the start of a new chapter for Dina, one where she was finally able to understand where she came from. Dina's life had been ordinary by most accounts. She had grown up without the glitz and glare of Hollywood, choosing a quiet life of family and community over fame. A realtor by profession, she married and had 3 children of her own, Gabby, Dante, and Eli. Her Facebook posts reveal a woman proud of her family, with frequent nods to her kids' achievements and milestones. One of the most touching moments came when her daughter Gabby got married, and Chuck Norris stood proudly beside her in family photos. Over the years, Dina has slowly begun to open up about her life and her relationship with her famous father. She has posted occasional glimpses into their family dynamic, from casual gatherings to celebratory events. What's striking is the sense of ease and normalcy that permeates their connection. Despite the public nature of Norris's fame, Dina remains grounded, speaking with gratitude rather than resentment for the years she lost. In doing so, she has helped shape a more human portrait of Chuck Norris. Her acceptance into the family wasn't just a gesture, it became a reflection of the values Norris had preached in public. Forgiveness, love, and family were not just words to him, they were the very things he now sought to embody through his actions towards Dina and her children. The secret that stayed hidden for decades.
The thing is with me, I admire anyone's opinion. If you have an opinion that's opposite of mine, that's fine. I don't mind. But let's not take it personal.
The secrecy surrounding Dina's existence wasn't just a matter of privacy, it was a deliberate decision that reflected the social norms and personal fears of the time. Joanna, Dina's mother, never went public with the story, and Norris never suspected that his brief affair had led to a child. For years, the two lived parallel lives without any contact, each unaware of the other's circumstances. The silence was deafening, and yet it persisted. Joanna later confirmed that she had made a conscious choice not to tell Norris. In his book, Norris shares that Joanna told their daughter not to disrupt his life, especially given his fame and family situation. Her request stemmed from a desire to protect not just Chuck's career, but also Dina from rejection or unwanted public scrutiny. And for a time, Dina listened, until that overheard phone call made silence no longer an option. What's remarkable is the grace with which everyone involved eventually handled the revelation. Chuck Norris could have easily denied responsibility or demanded a paternity test. He did neither. Instead, he leaned into the moment with humility and love. Joanna, for her part, eventually accepted the reunion and did not seek to reignite old conflicts. The family managed to shift from a narrative of secrecy to one of acceptance and connection. Dina herself has shown enormous patience and understanding. She never sought to shame her father publicly or air grievances about being left out of his life. Instead, she expressed appreciation of the way he welcomed her in once the truth was out. Life after the revelation.
People still get hurt. Well, you try to keep it to a minimum.
In the years following their reunion, Chuck Norris made it clear he wasn't interested in compartmentalizing his family. Dina became part of his life in the same way his other children had always been. Public posts from Father's Day and family events included Dina and her children without distinction. And for Dina, this was more than enough. She had found her father, not just biologically, but emotionally as well. Dina's children have grown up with a grandfather who, despite his fame, appears committed to family values. Norris, who once posted that being a father is one of God's greatest blessings, has taken his role as a grandfather just as seriously. He shares stories about family movie nights, sunset walks on their Texas ranch, and the joy he gets from simply being surrounded by loved ones. It's a far cry from the tough guy image he cultivated on screen, but it reveals the man behind the myth. Meanwhile, Dina's life has continued in the same grounded rhythm it always had. She balances family life with a career in real estate and keeps a relatively low profile. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think about the way Chuck Norris accepted Dina into his life? Let us know in the comments section below.